dude, why did one of the best Muay Thai fighters in the country ask me to be his coach? Look, I've dealt with imposter syndrome for years, but I'm gonna tell you exactly how I was able to destroy my doubts and develop a bulletproof confidence that I'm bringing with me to the Mecca of Muay Thai as I corner one of the best American Muay Thai fighters at Lumpinee Stadium. Could you imagine dedicating your entire life to something, the sacrifice, the pain, the late nights, only to let the opportunity of a lifetime pass you by simply because of doubt and fear and the stuff that haters say in comments? Because when the best Muay Thai fighter in the country asked me to coach him for his next fight, I was faced with a moment of self-reflection, thinking, am I ready for this? Now, that's Vashawn Mack right there. He's not the best in the country yet, but he's one of our undefeated fighters out of Beacon MMA here in New Jersey, and he's been one of the main sparring partners for that man right there. Yeah, you may recognize him. That's the chef, Lessei. And we're flying out to Thailand next week to corner him at the Mecca of Muay Thai for his upcoming match against the hungry Cody Jerome. Now you're probably wondering, how did this connection happen? Shane and Chef. Well, like how most connections happen these days, Luke reached out to me on Instagram and said, hey, if I move out to New Jersey, will you coach me? To which I responded with, what? But then I smacked some sense into myself and remembered that coaching isn't about me. I've never enjoyed being in front of the spotlight. No. It's about making others the best versions of themselves and fully committing your life to help others achieve greatness.
I get to come in here and work out with Shane Phasing, bro. Wait till you see Chef Shane, Chef 2.0, January 10, bro. Like, I'm telling you, it's not gonna be the same chef cooking.
With peaches flambe.
Little peach cobbler involved.
Let me just tell you, coaching isn't just mentally draining. It's obviously very physically demanding too. The sparring, holding pads, and then keeping up with my own training takes a toll on my body. I would literally fall apart if I didn't do this exact stretching routine right here. And it's simple, anybody can do it. I'll teach it to you in 5 seconds. But what's crazy is that it took me 25 years of training and studying and researching to finally break free of the constraints that modern exercise science has created. What I'm talking about is when they say things like, don't let your knees go past your toes when you do a squat, and keep a neutral spine, otherwise you'll break your back. In fact, what certifications do you have? And it's the same thing with coaching. Like, people have created these arbitrary pre-qualifiers that legitimize you as a coach, but it's not about what you've achieved in the ring. No, it's about your experience and trusting that you know enough and can convey that information to somebody else. It's been 15 years since I traveled out to Thailand by myself at just 19 years old. I remember the day that I got there was the day that the American embassy shut down, because in 2010 there were these protests going on. When I landed at the Bangkok airport, I could see black smoke barreling out from the skyline. Now, I made it to the camp safely. We started training twice a day, 6 days a week. Fast forward 3 weeks later, I end up at a fight as a spectator, sitting in the crowd, and the promoter comes up to me and says, I hear you want to fight in Thailand. And I said, yes, sir. And he said, cool, you're going to fight him tonight. I didn't have a cup. I had to borrow one from my teammate, and I fought without a mouthpiece that night. The one weird tip to win any street fight guy didn't have his mouthpiece on him. Go figure.
So today I'm going to be sharing that one weird tip, that one strange tip that's going to give the advantage over anybody in a street fight. The mouthpiece is like the defensive equivalent to brass knuckles.
But man, the experience and the confidence that I gained, stepping outside of my comfort zone, doing something that was scary as all hell. Yeah, that helped me become a better coach. But again, this isn't about me. This is about my team, right? Because I wouldn't have made it there 15 years ago without my team. And to be honest, I'm playing a very small role in Luke's part when he goes out there and fights next week. Because as they say, it takes a village. All right.
I gotta get that 50K bonus for you guys.
Yeah. For you? This isn't just a story about fighting. It's about chasing something bigger. For Luke, it's about providing for his family and becoming the best Muay Thai fighter in the world. And for me, it's about helping him get there mentally, physically, strategically. And Luke isn't just any fighter. He's going to be competing at Lumpinee Stadium. This is like the Wembley, the Mount Everest of Muay Thai. Do you know why they call it that? Do you know the significance of Lumpinee? Lumpinee Stadium was established in 1956, and it's not just an arena, it's a sacred ground where the greatest fighters in Muay Thai history have competed. I'm talking Samart, Dieselnoy, Sanchai. It's the place where fighters prove they belong among the sport's all-time greats. Fighting at Lumpinee represents the ultimate achievement in Muay Thai. It's a milestone that every fighter dreams of, but few will ever achieve. Lumpinee is deeply embedded in Thai culture, symbolizing tradition, honor, and the spirit of Muay Thai. So winning at Lumpinee is considered one of the highest honors in Thailand. And with events like One Championship now being hosted there, Lumpinee has become a global symbol of Muay Thai's prestige. I mean, just walking into Lumpinee Stadium means carrying the weight of its history. Every fight adds to its legacy, and every performance has the potential to define a career. And you don't have to be a coach or a fighter to understand this. It's about setting a goal so big that it scares you, and then trusting yourself when the opportunity comes knocking. If you've ever thought about becoming a coach, I'll tell you this, you don't have to be the best fighter to be a great coach. You just have to care deeply about helping others succeed. Being selfless is one of the most important coaching qualities. And if you're willing to put in the work, it's a journey that will change your life and the lives of those around you. But just knowing this alone doesn't prevent imposter syndrome from creeping in, right? Because who am I? When Luke's been working his whole life with his father, Dean Lessei, who's a legend in his own right, he's been the single biggest driving factor to help get Luke where he's at today. Who am I to change things? But that's when I realized I'm not changing anything. I'm just identifying where we can take Luke to the next level. And head coach Bob Peach and I have developed a strategy that is making Luke untouchable in sparring. And I've been helping Coach Peach out with holding pads because he holds like 50 rounds a week for our athletes here. And I don't know how he does it, because holding for any of our fighters is tough, but holding for someone like the chef who hits really hard, man, it is rough on the body. So pad holders, if you need a stretching routine, I highly recommend this one. Prevented me from turning into the goddamn Tin Man. So come here, let me show you how it's done. Ready? Like I said, I used to think that proper stretching had to follow perfect alignment and strict form, but one of my favorite stretches to do after a hard training session, after holding mitts for 10 rounds, is I lie flat on my back and I start making snow angels. And then from here, I just do what feels good. I mean, stretching is going to be a little bit uncomfortable. You have to stretch deep into those positions where you feel the tension, but if you hold those for 5, 10 breaths, and you're doing these stretches 20 minutes a day, maybe while you're watching TV, oh man, it just does wonders to the body. And look, there is no form to it. I'm kind of just twisting my body, stretching my shoulder and my chest here, and you'll find yourself starting to yawn and stretch like you're just waking up, or like a dog would. And man, it feels so good. But again, just flow from here. Whether you're stretching your low back, you can bring your knees up, toes over your head, and chase what feels good. You can start to separate your legs and kind of trace the hands of a clock if you want to open up your hips and stretch your hamstrings. You're limited to just what maybe others have told you, but with these stretches, it's kind of just doing what feels good, chasing that discomfort until it's not uncomfortable anymore. And look, like I'm saying all this to say that I did do all of the strict form stuff for 25 years, whether it was kinesiology or taekwondo stretches or yoga, and all of that stuff is important to understand what's healthy, but then you also have to do the stuff that's like outside of the box as well. So finding this confidence wasn't just where I trained at, but also who I trained with. When I was 15 years old, I walked into an MMA gym called Datus MMA and met Coach Bob Peach. He taught me how to fight, striking, Muay Thai, grappling, but more than that, he taught me how to be a man. He taught me how to adapt and overcome, and ultimately, Coach Peach taught me how to think for myself. And conversely, the fact that Coach Peach trusts me enough to teach at his gym and be in the corner with him, he trusts me and I trust his judgment. Therefore, I trust myself. And now, over a decade later, can you believe it? I'm coaching alongside him in preparation for this fight with Luke. And there's this level of unexplainable confidence that I have knowing that I'm on Coach Peach's team. So if you're watching this wondering, could I do this? The answer is yes, right? If you want to start out being a fighter and then eventually someday becoming a coach, it all starts with showing up. but then you have to continually show up day after day after day after year, and truly dedicating your life to becoming the best version of yourself so that you can help others become the best version of themselves. And every day we're getting closer to Thailand, closer to Lumpinee Stadium, closer to the moment where Luke has his most important fight to date against the Road to One champion, Cody Jerome, a super tough opponent who wants to prove that he's the best. He wants to prove that Luke is just someone standing in his way to achieve his dreams. And for me, it's the realization of a dream I've been chasing for years. Remember when I said you don't have to be a fighter or a coach to understand this, right? You might be a parent, an older sibling, a friend, but putting others before yourself, at least for me, has been my biggest motivator. It's what gets me out of bed in the morning. You know, in order to make others great, I have to be the best version of myself. And that requires hard work consistently. To be honest, I hate leaving my comfort zone, but I'm rarely in it. And that's because I consistently put myself in positions where other people depend on me. This isn't just about one fight. No, this is about pouring your heart into something and inspiring others to do the same. It's not just about the hard training, right? That looks rough, right? Wait till you see fight week next week. That's a whole different beast. I'm talking about the weight cuts, the mind games, the chaos. That's where champions are made or broken, right? And if you're not fully prepared for that, you could destroy everything that you work for. So make sure that you subscribe, because in episode 2, we're gonna talk about how we survive Hell Week and talk about why it could make or break Luke's fight at Lumpinee. And then in episode 3, we're gonna break down what our exact strategy was against Cody. We'd be stupid to share that now. So make sure you set the alerts so that you can get those videos when they come out.